Hello and thank you for watching. I'm Ashley Van Dyke with Advantage Software, and on today's video, Ignore Written Numbers, I'm going to show you how this commonly misunderstood number feature works, and talk about who should and should not put it to use. Ignore Written Numbers is found within User Settings and in the Numbers tab. Right now, I'm going to start with a translation with this turned off. And what Ignore Written Numbers does is when it is not checked, like I have it currently, Eclipse is able to employ artificial intelligence to number conversion and give me the results that are most readable in each scenario. So here I've written similar series of numbers within my document. However, in some instances, I've used my number bar, and in other instances, I've written out the numbers. And I've done this all throughout this little sample file. And so right now, I do not have Ignore Written Numbers turned on, and if you look in my dictionary, all of my numbers are defined properly as written out when I've written them out, and when I'm using the number bar, there's no dictionary entry at all. And so all of my dictionary entries are correct, and I'm going to translate this file. And so here you see that with Ignore Written Numbers turned off, all of my numbers translated the way I would usually expect them to, and the way I would want them to. Instances where I have a number less than 10, it has conformed to my write out settings and written that number out. And this has happened in both places, no matter if I use the number bar, as we see in the second example, or wrote the number out, as we see in the first example. And here we see the same thing with the number 16. It chose to give me the digit, even though I wrote this number out. If we move down to this dollar amount, we see that in the first instance, I wrote each number out, $3,400. And instead of writing all those numbers out, it gave me a formatted number as currency. In the second instance of the same number, I used my number bar. And again, I wrote $3,400. And I got the exact same translation. It doesn't matter with Ignore Written Numbers turned off which numbers I use, or even if I mix and match them. In this instance, I could have written 3 out, but used the number bar for 4, and it still would work. And we see the same thing here. I've written all of my numbers for this entry out, 1,222,432. And even though I used all written out strokes, Eclipse formatted that into easy to read digits. And in the second instance, I used my number bar and it did exactly the same thing. Now I'm going to close this document and I'm going to go to my user settings, to the numbers tab, and I'm going to turn on Ignore Written Numbers. And when Ignore Written Numbers is turned on, I will get exactly what I have in my dictionary. Number conversion won't be applied to my written out numbers. So I'm going to translate this file again with that new setting turned on. And this time, you see that everywhere where I did not use my number bar, all of my numbers were written out, no matter how unwieldy those numbers look or are to read in this format. And so, when you have Ignore Written Numbers turned on, you will get literally whatever is in your dictionary. And the only people who typically want to have this feature turned on are those who exclusively write that way. There are some theories that teach you to use the number bar when you want digits, and to write out numbers when you want the written out words. If that's the case, and that is what you strictly do for every number, every job, every time, then Ignore Written Numbers is for you. This will give you the number conversion results that you're expecting. However, if you mix and match the way that you write numbers, sometimes using written out words, sometimes using the number bar, or sometimes even mixing them in the same series of numbers, then you probably do not want Ignore Written Numbers checked. This feature solves a lot of number conversion confusion. Depending on the theory that you learned, whether this should be on or off is very simple, and making the correct choice will make sure that you get better and better number conversion. Don't forget that Advantage Software offers anytime support. Tech support can be reached anytime, including weekends and holidays, at 772-288-3266. Email support is also available at support@eclipsecat.com. Thank you for watching this video. Please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so that you'll be notified when we publish new content in the future. Thank you so much and have a great day.